So hello and many blessings to each of you out there. I thought I'd hop on today and touch in with you because I had a client a few days ago just reach out to me and say, I want to wait on doing more sessions because I haven't been doing the work that we've committed to, or that I've committed to, that you've guided me with. And so I'd like to do that first and then meet with you next month. And I sat with that for a moment, and before I responded to him, and I was really like, huh, what is the likelihood that you're going to respond, that you're actually going to do the work in the next month that you haven't been doing because of life circumstances, because of the holidays, because of work, because of your wife and all of these other things? What's the likelihood that you're going to start doing it now when you haven't been doing it for the last couple months? And I started to feel this fire inside of me and going, the reality is you're not going to do any of this without accountability, without support, without a driving focus, without a clear intention. So I reached out to him and started to express all of these things and said, look, if you don't have accountability, if you're not looking at this and you're really committed to it, what is that commitment? How are you going to move forward? How are you going to actually face the anxiety, the fear that's inside of you that keeps you from really living your purpose, from really living your best life? And it opened up a doorway of me reflecting how I did that in my own life. And I look back, and I look back at a time in my life where I had a few panic attacks, but not many. And then I had gone through a lot of different changes and then came back into a medical sales job. And in that medical sales job, I was making a lot of money, doing great. Everything was great. But then this anxiety came in. It was like a compression in the chest and the belly. And it was lasting not just days, weeks, months. It was going on for over a year, almost 2 years. And I'd have to lean into every table that I could get to just to kind of get some space in there so I could get a full breath. And I've been reflecting on what was it that I did to make a change so I moved through that. So I actually was able to move through the anxiety where anxiety wasn't ruling me. I started to look at what is the fear. What's the fear inside of me that is really that I'm avoiding? Because anxiety is so connected to fear. It's like this unrealistic belief of it's not okay. I'm not okay. I'm not going to make it. I'm unsafe. I'm going to die. Whatever that is. So I started to look at the fear. What am I afraid of? And then started to unwind the fear. So let's say I'm afraid of losing my job. Then what's the fear behind that? So you start to unwind the fear. So I started to unwind the fear. So when I got to the place of I'm afraid of losing my job, what am I afraid of? What's the worst thing that could happen if I lost my job? Well, if I lost my job, I would not have safety and security. And then what's the worst that could happen? Well, then I'd lose all my money. Then what's the worst that could happen? I could go homeless. And then what's the worst that could happen? Well, nobody would want to be around me, so I'd be homeless and all alone. Then what's the worst that could happen? I'd be homeless, all alone, and I'd die that way. I'd be homeless, all alone, and I'd die that way. So I'd get to the root of that fear, and then I'd start sitting with that fear. Not running away from it, not hiding it, not suppressing it, not trying to distract myself out of it, which is such a technique that so many of us use to just try to get through anxiousness, etc. I started to sit with that fear. Is this realistic? Where's it coming from? What do I need in order to feel safe, no matter what? And so that was the question I was asking. And then I didn't know, I didn't have somebody guiding me, which I would have loved at that time. I was starting to look for a teacher, look for a coach. In my job, I wasn't loving it. In fact, I was doing it for the money. I wasn't doing it for the love of it. And I found yoga in the midst of that. And when I found yoga, it gave me a purpose. It gave me something to look forward to. It gave me something that was feeding me and giving back to me. And so that yoga, it was so valuable for the breath and for the movement and the physical. And it was certain things that helped with anxiety, but it also helped the part of, we often get an anxiety and we feel like we just got to find a way to deal with it. We got to find a way to cope with it. I'd like to get rid of it, but it's been here for so long. How do I get rid of it? So I'll just, how am I going to just cope with it? So I found myself getting in this lackluster place of, this is just how it is. I want to get rid of it. I'm frustrated or angry about it, but I'm not going to. I don't know anything else to do. So when I found yoga, it was actually what I found is I found purpose. I found love. I found joy in something that I could commit to every day and I could look forward to. So then as I continued with yoga, it opened up this doorway of purpose for me. It opened up a doorway of that began. I didn't know this at the time, but it became my whole life. It became my whole journey. It became everything, and then it became my my true purpose in life. And I didn't know that at the beginning, but I knew something was in there. When I went to yoga for the first time, I was like, there's something here for me. So if you're in this place of stress, fear, anxiety, and you're feeling like you don't know how to get out of it, I invite you to get to the root of that fear and start sitting with that. And I also invite you to find something you love so much. It doesn't have to be about a career, but find something you love and start to spend time doing that. Start committing time doing that. Start engrossing or immersing yourself in that. Start surrounding yourself around people who do that. And I promise you, this can open up a door for you of purpose, of peace, and a way through. One of the greatest things that opened for me is there was something bigger than the fear. I had a purpose, I had a focus, I had something that was driving me forward, bigger than the fear that was holding me back. So I invite you, if you're in this place where you're in doubt, you're in fear, you think it's always going to be this way, find something that can pull you up. Find a community that can pull you up. This is a key. This is such a beautiful way to transform your life. So I thought I'd share this because it's so important for us to all thrive together. So I'm holding for you. I'm sending you lots of love. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.